Hi, this is Danny Doyle, and you are watching Chapter 14 of my Fire Emblem Path of Radiance 0% Growth playthrough. I'm here with Jacob once again. How are you doing tonight, Jacob?
I can't see anything. There's too much fog in the way.
That is, yeah, I mean, we mentioned before, there's only 2 Fog of War chapters in this game, which is kind of weird. And also, fun fact, did you know you can buy a torch staff in this game? And you can only buy it in this chapter, so it's only useful in this chapter?
I mean, like, I remember playing Sacred Stones a whole bunch as a kid, and I would get into the random encounters with the monsters on the overworld, and I would hope there would be a Fog of War map, because I would bring La Rochelle with an entire inventory full of torch staffs.
Of course you would.
Because I had to level her to 20 before I could promote her, or else she would get fewer level ups overall.
I mean, I leveled Jill up to 20 before promoting her, but somehow I don't think it made a difference.
Yeah, I don't think your Jill really got that much better.
I don't think she needed to.
Can't improve upon perfection.
So speaking of improving Jill, I did give her one of the 2 Seraph robes. I'm saving the other one for another unit, but boosting her up to 36 HP means that she can frontline a lot more easily. I'm also going to go ahead and give a speed wing to Kieran. I thought about saving it, but I was looking at the next main combat unit I get is Tanith. And she's only 4 points from capping her speed, so I don't think I'm going to be spending speed wings on her, because I don't think capping her speed actually does that much for her in terms of, like, doubling new enemies.
Yeah, she's already pretty fast, and she has enough strength that she can use... I think she can use heavy weapons like Iron Blades without speed penalty. I remember giving those to her all the time.
Yeah, I guess the speed penalty is, like, for effective weapons, like, I mean, not the hammer, but the heavy spear and armor slayer and stuff would be a thing, to consider regarding boosting Tanith's speed, but I honestly don't think, I think it's better to use them now on Kieran, just because he's the highest attack of my combat units,
Oh yeah.
and boosting him to 16 speed, again, it's about meeting the doubling threshold or getting out of the getting doubled threshold, which is why I gave one to Jill, one to Kieran.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Are you ready for? I'm trying to rush this map. I have to tackle a couple side objectives, get these houses, and kill this guy up here. That's how you clear the map, is kill the guy. He's my least favorite type of boss, the Killer Axe Berserker, so he always has a ton of crit no matter what, and he's usually going to one-shot your people with a crit no matter what, even in a growth context.
When did we start playing Binding Blade? Killer Axe Berserker?
I think that's the only other game that has Killer Axe Berserkers as bosses.
Except Binding Blade has about, I don't know, 3 of them?
I think it actually only has 1.
Well, because there's the Western Isles boss, there's the Western Isles Gaiden boss. I think he has a killer axe. And then there's Dory in one of the early chapters. He's a fighter with a killer axe. Binding Blade just loves killer axes.
Well, but I'm talking, so he has a killer axe and he's Berserker, so he gets the crit bonus on top of the killer axe's innate crit.
Oh yeah, at least it's only a 15% crit bonus in this game, as opposed to Binding Blade's 30% crit bonus.
But I'm about ready to get started, if you are.
Yeah, let's go. Good thing I only see 1 fighter on the map. This will be an easy chapter.
Well, for now you only see 1 fighter, but I'm going to use Mordecai's personal weapon.
Ooh.
And reveal that there is, in fact, a 2nd fighter.
I had no idea that guy was over there.
Also, the music got really quiet again. So I guess the theory you had about, like, it being nighttime and you being sneaky is the reason the music's quiet doesn't really work here, unless it's just like lazy programming.
Yeah, I don't really have a reason or thought for why the music's so quiet during Fog of War maps.
It is a great mystery, which I guess fits the theme of Fog of War maps, being mysterious. Oh, Brahm's here again. He's gonna do something very important.
Oh, good job.
So he's visiting this house, and Khalil is going to hand him some spirit dust for him to hold on to. And we're going to hold on to it for a while, and then eventually give it back to her.
I mean, to be fair, I think I do that with Spirit Dust on a vanilla playthrough.
I mean, she's just the best target for it. If you're training a mage, they're a better target, probably. Because, like, Tormod, in a growths context, will have higher magic than Khalil. But obviously not in a 0%
Tormod.
context. Sorry, what were you saying?
That involves me using Tormod, though.
Why would you not use Tormod?
I don't think out of the 3 or so playthroughs of Path of Radiance I've ever done, I don't think I've ever used Tormod one time, funnily enough, despite me screaming about how much I love Marcia because she moves a whole bunch. And then it's just, Tormod, who cares about that guy? I have Soren already. I don't need another mage. Come on, Killing Edge crit. Oh, nice hit.
There we go. There we go.
Good job, Seaheart.
I got that crit.
Come on, get strength, get strength.
This is probably Zehark's best chapter, because I think most of the enemies, or not most of the enemies, but like a good number of the enemies are axe users in this chapter, because it's like a bunch of brigands. There's some calves, but
this is reminding me more and more, to bring up Binding Blade again, this is reminding me more and more of Chapter 9, the first Western Isles chapter. You have all the islands. You have all the islands you're walking between. It's a whole bunch of axe fighters and brigands you're fighting. It's Fog of War. I see you're playing with your new L and R button that you managed to get configured.
well, I just wanted to show off the map you were talking about, how it's like got the multiple islands linked together.
Yeah, it's not designed the same, but it kind of brings the same idea to me of your island hopping against all these axe fighters in a Fog of War chapter. I don't know, it kind of made me think of it. And there's the Killer Axe boss.
And
I can't wait to see what else Brahm's gonna do in this chapter.
I honestly think he's done everything he's going to do.
Probably for the rest of the game.
Quite possibly.
Actually, I can think of one other chapter you might deploy him in.
Are you thinking about the desert chapter? Because that's probably not going to be a thing.
Nope, not the desert map. I mean, this map looks like it takes place on a desert.
So Jill is proving extremely useful here. I mean, like always, but especially like you were talking about with the islands, her being able to fly is
Funny how Marcia with no strength level ups is barely doing any damage with an iron sword.
So I deployed Mist because my thought process was, oh, I'm splitting the group in half, like I can send a healer with each half of the group. But now I'm thinking like, oh, well, this group is much weaker, so I'll just send Mist over to this side.
Oh yes, splitting the party. One of my favorite things to do.
Come on, dodge. Yeah, nice dodge.
Nice
Oh,
adept.
very useful adepts. Very useful adepts.
Just in case he missed the 99.
There we go. Who
Whoa,
needs
look
strength
at
when
her
you have forges?
go. Let's go Wing Spear. Oh, you're using a Wing Spear uses on something that's not a Cavalier.
It's weird that I would do that, except for
Hey, I
we're
found some
playing in a
Cavaliers.
2x effectiveness game. I am a little bit worried those calves are probably going to kill Riss and cause me to reset immediately.
Oh yeah, those are
I'm
definitely in range.
playing a little fast and loose with this. And Risk gets one-rounded by, like, everything.
I would even go to say he probably gets one shot by some of those Cavaliers. What does he have? 16 HP, 0 defense?
He's not 16 HP. He's not that low, is he? 22.
Okay, 22. No, I must be thinking of someone else then. I
You
think
probably missed.
Mist.
You're thinking
Yeah,
of
Mist has 16. That's right.
Mist might also be in range of those guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Well, no, she's just out of range, but if they have a 2 range. I'm good at Fire Emblem. I don't know if you could tell, but putting your healers in range of multiple Cavaliers with Kanto, it's a smart move.
Oh yeah, you definitely seem like the kind of person that's beat Path of Radiance multiple times over.
Listen. It's fine. If I die, we will just edit the video and make it look like I didn't.
Editing strats. But will you really
Very
put in that much
professional.
effort to edit your video?
Oh, look, another
like-
Thunder Mage. He heard Gatru was good against mages and he wanted to test it for himself.
Doubled. That fighter might kill him. Oh wow, does he get doubled?
Yes, he does. Let's see just how poorly I did.
I wanna
Let's see if
if
Gatru dies too.
See if Gatry's just dead.
Oh.
Z-Hark will be fine.
No, he won't.
Nice crit. Free up space for more enemies. Oh, nice Lagoose Lance. It's a good thing the guy
That's
who
the
loves
other.
Lagoose
Oh, look, Makalov. Are you a mercenary too? Crit and kill Makalov. Please do it. Please kill Makalov.
Oh, what HP. Crit.
Ah.
No adapt either. Bad you. Come on, hurry up. Fighter move. What? The fighter didn't
Does that
attack.
fighter not move?
I guess not.
Huh.
Well, I guess Gatry lives.
We will be right back. Okay, we're back. I decided that the smart thing to do would be to send Titania left, so there's like at least one good combat unit in each of these two groups. And Leth is up here. Oh, I gave Leth the occult scroll that I wasn't planning on having, just because, like, eventually she will, quote-unquote, fall off combat-wise, and having the option to just, like, immobilize someone will mean that she's still contributing even when she's not, like, one-rounding every enemy. I don't know.
I think that makes sense.
I don't think it's a good skill, but I think most occult skills are bad.
And the only ones that are kind of good are stuck on bad units. Like, Luna, I think, is pretty good, because it's a little bit of a damage boost, but the only people who get Luna are Taronio, promoted Gatry Braum, promoted Nephany, and Devdon.
I mean, watch who you're calling bad. I just heard you list a bunch of really good units.
Okay, I can't wait to see you deploy Nephany next chapter.
Oh, that's right. I should have named a forge after her, since I've named a forge after all my other fallen comrades.
She hasn't fallen. She's just gonna be stuck in jail until she potentially starves or dies of thirst or torture.
I'm pretty sure that because we didn't kill the boss, like, he was gonna execute everyone anyway. So I think we can, safely say she's, gonzo.
Her execution day has been moved up.
Who is that? Is that Noel? Is that Noel?
Yeah,
it's Noel.
Noel is the one who says that. Whenever you find him in a cell and he says, "Oh dear, has my execution day been moved up?" It's one of my favorite lines in the whole game. He's just completely given up to the point that he's pretty much saying, "Oh, some people are here. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and die today then." Nice 2RN.
I mean,
getting
look at his
failed kill
stats.
numbers.
He's probably correct. So after all that hard work of getting Mist up to C-rank stabs so that I would never have to deploy her again, I deployed her again because I had no one better for, no one better for this chapter. And unlike defend chapters, in Kill Boss, you don't get a bonus for leaving people undeployed. Is he gonna get doubled? He's not. I was gonna be like, that guy dealing more than 2/3 of Brahm's health. There we go, there we go, there we go.
Good job.
So the reason Marcia's on this side is because her brother is hanging out in the fog and she needs to recruit him. But we're also in a rush to get to those villages before they get burned down. The stuff in there isn't great. It's like Vantage and... Good job. Good job, Jill. It's like Vantage and I think a secret book, or maybe that's where the Draco Shield is. That I thought the Speedwings were.
Wouldn't it be really cool if Mist had a staff that revealed foggy tiles?
I think I mentioned earlier, but it's been a little bit because we had to pause because I'm an idiot. That there is in fact a torch staff in this game.
I know, I was making fun of you, at us laughing at the idea of, why is there a torch staff when there's only 2 Fog of War maps in the whole game?
Well, and you can't even buy it for the first one. Like, that's the really... I remember, because they don't have Fog of War on normal mode, and since this was my first game, I played, like, easy and normal before I played hard. And when I found out about Fog of War, I was like, oh crap, like, that's pretty dangerous. I should buy this torch staff and then hoard it so that I can use it on future Fog of War maps. And then it's like the unlock staff in Radiant Dawn, where you're like, oh, this is cool. There's no opportunities to use it though.
There's no Fog of War on normal mode?
There's no Fog of War on easy and normal in Path of Radiance. It's a hard mode exclusive thing.
I did not know that. I've only ever played the game on hard mode because I was told it was pretty easy, so I never bothered trying.
It is pretty easy.
Normal mode. I had no idea that there was no Fog of War. Nice miss, Seahark.
It's a very, very engaging fight.
Epic motion.
I mean, I understand him missing, because I'm taking advantage of terrain.
Hey, maybe we can reach the Gotri versus Mage quota for this episode, too.
I think we already reached that quota. Yeah, you can just hang out over here, Gotri, where it's safe. I just wanted to double check. Make sure there wasn't something I was missing out on.
Oh no, he's using fire magic.
You fool, I'm not transformed. It's not effective.
You fool.
Wait, what? He attacks Marcia? Oh my god. I wonder, I don't think she has the wing spear equipped, does she?
Oh. I was gonna watch him run away into the fog somewhere you couldn't see him.
At least they have a unique conversation, unlike in Shadow Dragon, Lena's brother, whose name I always forget, Mathis's battle quote is, "Oh no, if only I could see Lena again." And so sometimes you'll get situations where he goes, "Oh no, if only I could ever see Lena again," and then he stabs her in the face. My
Mathis
dear sweet sister.
Mathis is one of the goofiest looking characters in the whole series. I love his weird looking pinkish purple hair, his battle cry of, "Oh dear Lena, where are you?" Even though she's on the tip of his steel lance that weighs him down, so he gets doubled by all of your units.
I love just like looking at his stats and comparing them to the stats of the generic calves in that chapter. Wait, why can't I talk to him? I can't talk over the bridge.
Oh, Well, yeah, because you can't talk to him, too.
I was just gonna be able to attack with the javelin. Wait, no, I can attack at one range, but I can't. Wait, what? From this square, I can attack Makalov at one range, but I cannot talk to him. But I can talk to him from here. What the fuck?
Path of Radiance is a good game with interesting mechanics.
Game design. This is game design.
Time to get
over here, buddy.
Another horse guy. Hey, Master Seal target, right?
I'm taking the red gem off of him because if he dies, I probably don't want to reset, but I do want that money. Let's talk about Makalov. Look at his stats. Normally he's the weakest of your knights, but he's actually the second strongest. Like if this was a more traditional Fire Emblem game in terms of promotions, and I had like multiple knight crests, I would probably feed him one immediately, because a promotion could make him pretty useful. Unfortunately, I don't have the bonus experience to promote him and also promote the other person I want, and by the time I get the third Master Seal, it's just like a little bit too late. I guess in theory, I could have gone without promoting Marcia, but I really want that extra point of move, for Chapter 17. But yeah, 9 strength, 10 speed is, terrible in a growths context, but, like, I see Makalov doing work in the upcoming chapters. How do you feel about Makalov?
In a traditional growth playthrough, I still usually end up using him because horse units go wee in Path of Radiance. If you give him the Night Ward, you can bonus experience him up a little bit, make sure he gets speed levels really easily so he starts doubling things a lot easier. Being locked to swords isn't very good before promotion because it's no 2 range, so we can't counter anything at 2 range outside of using the Sonic Sword, which you don't really want to be using on him.
It's kind of just Tanith's personal weapon, or like Mist if you're feeling like combat Mist.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you don't get the Sonic Sword until you get Tanith, so once you get her, you have someone who uses it much better than he does. You can give him axes on promotion. It gives him a little bit of a might increase. Another bad part about him using swords is he's already fairly accurate, and having swords is just the lowest might out of all of them. So you give him axes, you give him some hand axes and some javelins, or not javelin, steel axes and hand axes, and he'll be just fine, especially if you support him up with someone. I think I usually support him up with Astrid just because I'm using all the horses. I think you're trying to tell me something.
You said he's already fairly accurate. He has 7 skill.
Maybe that's just
at level 10. He has 1 more skill than Gotri.
You're right. I think I'm just thinking of the swords being accurate.
He has less skill than Braum. I think swords are the best weapon type for him because he's so bad. Like, obviously axes are the best weapon, but in terms of like making up for the fact that Makalov can't hit shit, swords are probably good for him.
And to reiterate what we've already kind of talked about with Kieran, his personal skill, this is less important than anything else because both skills, both Tempest and Gamble, aren't very good. They're both skills you just kind of want to take off of them. I will always believe that his skill, along with Kieran's, were mixed up, where he was supposed to get Gamble and Kieran was supposed to get Tempest. Makalov is, as much as I don't really like him as a unit, I kind of like him as a character because he's well written to be a bad person.
Don't let the Astrid fanboys hear you say that. Don't let the Astrid fanboys hear you say that.
Well, I am an Astrid fanboy, so I have perfect room to talk about this. But I also haven't played Radiant Dawn, so I like that he's purposefully written to be a really bad person, per se. He's not a bad person because he's poorly written. I think he's wonderfully written to be this sleazy guy who's always trying to get more money out of people to pay off debts, so he digs himself into more debts. making deals with people. Like, that's why he's mixed up with this mercenary squad in the first place, even though he's holding a red gem, so he could have sold that to pay off some of his debts, but we're not going to talk about that.
I mean, the red gem's worth what? Like 2,500?
I think so. 2,500 sounds about right. I think that's what it is in BA.
I don't remember how much he owes, but I feel like it's a lot more than 2,500.
He also contributes a free steel sword, so that's also a thing. But otherwise, yeah, he's... I never noticed until this playthrough just how high of a level Kieran starts at compared to everyone else. Because if you think, we're getting Makalov at level 10 right now. Oscar was 3, Astrid was 1, and what was Kieran, 12 or something?
Yeah, Kieran was 12. Actually, looking back, I was like, I'll immediately sink a Master Seal into him. It might have been wiser to use bonus experience. Save that Master Seal
I don't
for
know
either
if you would've...
Tormod or...
It's hard to say
if
whether
I'd been
you
rotating
would
my
have...
saves, I considered, like, even early promoting Miss just to get her to see and give her the mount. I don't know. I feel like there's a number of approaches you could take to how to spend the 2 seals and 0%. And I don't know that Kieran was the ideal one just because you have enough bonus experience to get him up.
I was about to ask if you would have had enough bonus experience to promote him before you started that chapter.
Oh, almost certainly. Almost certainly.
Wow, how much would you have had by that point? I mean, because you would have to sink nine high levels into him, costing a lot of bonus experience. Maybe I'm just underestimating how much you would have had at that time.
It's probably around 900 or maybe at most 1,000 bonus experience to get him up there. It's not that much more than 100 per level once you get over level 10. I don't know. I mean, not really going to dwell on the mistakes of the past, though, because I don't think it's a huge deal. Like, not having promoted Makalov sucks, but it comes at the cost of... Basically, the choice was Makalov or Marcia, and I'd go with Marcia. Because everyone else was kind of necessary to promote, like Tormod, who I'm getting pretty soon. Promoting him is a really big deal. Promoting Kieran is a really big deal because I get a second Titania. Promoting Jill is a big deal because I get a third Titania, but with wings this time.
If you really think about it, sinking the bonus experience into Kieran would have meant you would have had less to sink into Jill or Marcia, but since you used a Master Seal on Kieran, I'm taking a guess you're going to be using Tormod, even if it's just for high movement, staff, and potential siege tomes. At least now, you'll still have that bonus experience to spend on Tormod. So it's not like using a Master Seal on Kieran has kept you from bonus experiencing Tormod. I guess technically there's 2 levels that would have been lost because Kieran's level 12. So you're going to have to give Tormod those levels, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal. I don't think that there's a way I could have gotten all of the people I would like to promoted, even discounting Gotri, who was much more disappointing than I initially thought he might be upon returning. I always forget just how much he falls off upon returning. Because I drafted him one time in a draft, and he was, like, pretty solid in the draft, but it was because I basically just used him and Titania for the entire early game because they were the only drafted units for the early game. Titania was free and Gotri was drafted.
Yeah, drafts and character solos tend to do that, where a unit gets so over leveled and starts eating up all the stat boosters that it's like, oh wow, look how good this person is, and then you try to use them in a vanilla run, and it's, oh, now that they're on an average level, I realize he gets doubled. He doesn't have enough defense to wall. He just doesn't check all the boxes anymore.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. We've wandered really far in talking about Makalov.
All of that to say, Makalov is like 6 out of 10 in a vanilla playthrough. Use him because horses are good.
I advocate benching him. I don't think there's enough bonus experience to go around to get him up to where you want him to be, and I think that Like if your Oscar turned out bad, or if you like decided you don't want to use Astrid or whatever, then sure, yeah. And like paladins are great. Playing with all paladins and flyers is like a thing you can do, but I think oftentimes
That's
you won't have the bonus experience you need for it. And you
that's exactly
probably
what I
have
did on my
some
most
number of meme
recent.
characters you want to play with as well, because Path of
That's
Radiance
exactly
is
what I
not.
did on my most recent playthrough. I used only the Cavaliers, Paladin, and Flyers, and it was probably the most boring version of playing this game because I was like, oh, everyone kills everything, and I have Kanto.
It's just FE4.
Yeah, it was just FE4 at that point.
But we've been talking for about 30 minutes. I think this is a good place to cut it off, and when we come back, we will see how Makalov performs after having been stabbed by his sister.
Put him up against a mage.
I'm not going to do that.